I have a question for all of you film fans out there. What is the greatest year in movies ever? Really think about it. Is there one? What is the year from January 1st to December 31st that had the most frequent releases of quality content? The year that made you the happiest? The year that surprised you the most? The year that gave us multiple classics? The year that brought people together? The year that made you cheer the most, cry the most, feel the most? The year that changed cinema? Which one is it? Is there one? Is there a right answer to this? Well, of course not. With something so subjective as film, there is no right answer to this question. There's no arbitrary correct answer or formula to figure out which string of movies were the best. You may have been affected by different years for different reasons, and there are so many great years to choose from. You have the revolutionary 1974 with Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, Death Wish, Chinatown, Murder on the Orient Express, Towering Inferno, and The Godfather Part 2. 1982 with classics such as E.T., Blade Runner, The Thing, Wrath of Khan, King of Comedy, First Blood, and Rocky III. The impactful 1994 with Pulp Fiction, Leon the Professional, Speed, Shawshank Redemption, Forrest Gump, Ace Ventura, and The Usual Suspects. Or maybe you go with the game-changing 1999 with The Matrix, The Sixth Sense, American Beauty, The Iron Giant, Magnolia, The Green Mile, and Fight Club. Or even something more recent like 2007, which gave us a great balance of comedy and darkness with Juno, Hot Fuzz, Superbad, Ratatouille, American Gangster, There Will Be Blood, Zodiac, and No Country for Old Men. All of these are good choices, and you can't go wrong with any of them. But I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I have come up with an answer of my own. This is of course just my opinion, shaped by my twisted little brain, but my favorite year in movie history is 2014. 2014! Now let me tell you about what came out in 2014 and why I think it's hands down the best movie year ever. Well, at least my personal favorite. This is the year that gave us 4 incredible comic book movies. Captain America: The Winter Soldier legitimized the MCU as a bona fide action franchise that wasn't just fun. There were deeper, real-world themes to tackle, and it did it beautifully. It is considered by many as the best MCU film to date, and one of the best action movies in recent memory. But you know what else came out just 4 months later? Guardians of the Galaxy, a modern-day classic that is the best of both Star Wars and Indiana Jones. It is filled with amazing characters and some great comedy, and it's also considered one of the MCU's absolute best. So this was the year that the MCU gave us their best action movie and their best comedy movie. Oh yeah, plus, X-Men Days of Future Past also came out, which was a beautifully made film about hope and redemption. A movie that brought an all-star cast together for the deepest and most exciting X-Men movie ever. And oh yeah, Kingsman: The Secret Service also came out that year. A super fun and incredibly well-handled action movie that leaned into the wackiest parts of spy movies while also making fun of them. That church fight scene is still one of my favorite action scenes of all time. So 2014 was probably the most consistent when it came to great comic book movies. Then you have Birdman, which is my favorite film of all time. This movie is a masterpiece in every way. Acting, pacing, camera work, writing, editing, visuals. Ugh! It is an orgasmic experience of redemption, family, self-discovery, rebirth, balance, and just one man's journey as he battles what he wants to be compared to what the world wants him to be. It is an amazing film, and the one-take, no-cut style of it is something that will never be forgotten. Mwah! Then you have my second favorite film of all time, The Grand Budapest Hotel. This is Wes Anderson at the height of his powers. He perfected his craft with this one to make a true masterwork. The color palette, visuals, score, character work, camera movement, and performances by the stellar cast is all perfect. This movie is a living, breathing piece of art. Then you have Nightcrawler, an amazingly dark character film dissecting the mind of a sociopath. Jake Gyllenhaal truly gives one of the greatest performances I've ever seen in this film. And this is the movie that really legitimized him as one of the best actors of our time. Have you guys heard of a little film called Whiplash? Me, this movie is great. It's one of the best and most intimate movies about obsession and what you're willing to go through to be successful. And it also has an all-time memorable performance by J.K. Simmons. Fantastic flick. Then you have Ex Machina, one of the best modern day sci-fi movies about the curiosity and dangers of artificial intelligence. It's methodically paced, wonderfully well written, has 3 incredible performances, and cemented Oscar Isaac as a truly great actor. You then have Boyhood, which isn't a movie that I loved, but it's a truly incredible feat in filmmaking. Having the movie filmed for 12 years and experiencing these characters grow up in real time is something that I've never seen done before. It really did add an extra element to the rawness of the movie, and it's a tactic that is honestly unbelievable. Then you have The Babadook, which is one of the best horror movies of the past 20 years. It didn't rely on cheap jump scares. It instead focused on character depth, and it was a personal movie about the examination of one's grief and the horror that naturally comes from that. Then you have Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, the best of the New Apes trilogy, and a movie that helped revolutionize modern day CGI. The Lego Movie and Big Hero 6, 2 incredibly hilarious animated movies with a ton of heart. Edge of Tomorrow, a really exciting and inventive sci-fi action film that brought a new twist to time travel and leaned into the best sensibilities of Tom Cruise. Gone Girl, a great mystery thriller by David Fincher. Imitation Game, a movie that made code breaking interesting. Godzilla, the film that rejuvenated big monster movies. Under the Skin, a really intimate and personal alien invasion movie that was hauntingly beautiful and thought-provoking. John Wick, a kick-ass action movie that started the Keanu-sance. Frank, a quirky and heartfelt movie about being different and accepting your flaws that has a hilarious and nuanced performance by Michael Fassbender. Fury, a really solid war movie with a great cast. Foxcatcher, the movie that showed that Steve Carell could be more than just the goofy funny man. And Enemy, Denis Villeneuve's psychological thriller about self-discovery and man's inner fears that is both meticulously crafted and deep on many levels. A film that challenges common filmmaking techniques and makes you really use your brain to figure out what's going on. This lineup of movies is just spectacular. I mean spec-freaking-tacular. I've never seen a year that had so many consistently good films come out. Maybe some other years had a couple of really significant single releases, but this is the year that kept the good movies coming, one after another after another. This is the year that I'm gonna remember the most. I have 7 films from 2014 on my top 50 favorite movies list, more than any other year. 2014 was the year that redefined Marvel Studios, that revolutionized CGI, that made me think the most, that made me cry my eyes out, that had incredible acting, incredible directing, incredible visuals, and the most vast lineup of great films to choose from. It broke preconceived notions, rejuvenated multiple actors' careers, it tried new things, and it made me like a horror movie and Tom Cruise. That's crazy! It also gave us The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which was so bad that Sony allowed Spider-Man to come over to the MCU. I love it! It had great fiction, non-fiction, action, fantasy, sci-fi, superheroes, thrillers, horror, character pieces, ensemble casts, surrealism, realism, dramas, comedies, and everything you could ask for in a year in film. Every single genre and type of movie you can think of, 2014 had a good version of it. I was 19 at the time, and this was the most important year in the development of my movie-loving experience. This year changed me. It influenced me. It inspired me like no other. If I had had a YouTube channel back then, you would have seen a very positive pickle. God, I love this year. I owe so much to this year. Thank you, 2014. You are my favorite year in movies ever. So tell me, what is your favorite year in movies? If you don't have one, that's okay. But really try to think about it and let me know in the comments. I really want to hear everyone's choices. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you didn't like it, it's okay. I still love ya. Thank you so much for watching to this point. And until we meet again, peace out.